All right, we're in the Centenary Harbour 9-hole Cup. Started today. Where have you been? I'm telling you, it's busy, busy. My wife had shoulder surgery, and I was her caregiver last week, and we are just slammed. We took August off and started advertising in September, and we're booked all the way through Thanksgiving now. So we have a few slots open, but we are booked. So what do we got here? I haven't. Of all the holes that are out there, these holes I've played several times, but we'll just have to wing it. I'll wing it when I get out there. Let's see what we got going on here. So hole number one. Now, if I remember correctly, if you're in rookie, if you're playing rookie and you got a tailwind, and you bring out a big ball, and we were practicing this. Denner and I were playing this hole with a 5 power topspin boost and 0 wind. And if you're in tailwind and you catch it just right, I was able to make it down to the other side. You can get through there, but if you got any kind of headwind here, it ain't going to happen. You're going to end up getting probably just being up at the top. I'm not really a big fan of trying to go this way. You can get a little bit closer up here, and if you think about the flagpole being here, this area is pretty flat with it. Whereas if you're up here, you're definitely uphill, way uphill. But you can get down to the bottom down there if you bring the right stuff. You can. There was another way we were playing this too. Like if you want to, you can lay it up. You can lay it up over here, and you've got a nice sniper shot coming in, and there's a rough bump from over here that you can do. So you do have some options. That's what I like on these holes. I like having. It always cracks me up when people go, "Oh, there's only one way to play those holes." Okay, sure. Maybe there's only one way for you to play those holes, but it's really important in one-on-one to know how to play these holes in a bunch of different ways, because you can be smart. You have to be smart when you're playing one-on-one. You're not playing in a tournament. The whole goal is to beat your opponent while they're out there on the course. And if you play smart and you can look at the wind and go, wow, that way over there is not going to work for that shot. I'll take my other shot, or I'll take my B shot or my C shot, and have multiple ways to come at it. You're going to be way ahead. No, I know I had some. I think this is it right here. That's the 5-0 wind. I'm going to try one of those. Might as well. Yeah, it's important to know how to play these holes from different sides. Don't get married to one side, and especially with the new pin placements on holes, because some of the shots that we've taken for years that work great for the old pin placement do not work at all for the new pin placement. So know how to go at it from different directions. Now you can also, on this side, if you catch it just right, you can try and loft it and get through that rough and end up on the other side down at the bottom. It is possible. You're going to have to bring out a bigger ball than a Titan. And we need a really kind of a straight-on tailwind. Because you definitely want to get your second bounce past the sand trap and that rough down there. I haven't had a lot of success. I've made it several times, but like my least favorite would be to try and blast it on the right hand side and try and get it all the way down there in the sand. Let's see what we can get going. If we can get anything going. There we go. Where is that second bounce? Four. That should be about 2 rings. That's 4-2, so I'll do 2 rings and a little. I want to make sure I put on any forward distance that I lost. One ring great to the right. That shouldn't kill me. Now, if I can catch that hill, roll. Oh, I caught that little teeny bit of rough before I hit the hill. If it wouldn't have, and that slowed it down. If I hadn't caught that little bit of rough, I think it would have had enough speed. Once it hits that hill, it's so steep that, excuse me, I think it would have rolled down. But clipping that little bit of rough did not do me any favors. Arrgh. It's okay. This close with a rough iron, it basically boils down to hit it perfect, and it goes in the hole. You have topspin on that, dude? You could run a little topspin. You could. From the sand to the sand. From the rough to the rough. Yeah. What were you thinking, dude? What were you thinking? Yeah, I am. Way down in my club. All right, usually when you're getting problems like that, you can run a little bit of backspin and get up close. If your ball guy's getting all wonky on you. I'm going to hedge my bet and go right there on the edge of the cup. That wind looks like it's going to push me towards the other side. Now let's see if we can hit it perfect. I just put my perfect glasses on, so I got that going for me. And I hit it 75,000 rings straight to the right. That was a good solid one. Might have been 1.5 rings straight to the right. 1 or 75,000, what's the difference? I saw in there, and my teammate was telling me that next week we got the par 4s, and I went and looked at hole number 1. This weekend I'm gonna take the time, because this is a tournament that we should be getting, unless I think there's some of the City Park hole, not is it City Park? I think there might be some City Park holes. There's a couple par 4s in the game that are, most par 4s we're trying to get eagle. They're birdie holes with an eagle opportunity, but there's a couple par 4s out there that are par holes with a birdie opportunity. You're really trying to get birdie. I haven't looked at all of them, but I'm hoping that they're all par 4s that are like, we have a serious chance of getting eagle on. And that would be awesome. And I love par 4s. Anybody who's watched my channel knows I love par 4s. So disconnect, connect. All right. Did not get that big one on that one. All right, what's hole number 2? What is that a par 4? Or is that a par 5? That is a par 4. All right. All right. All right. All right. I don't think we need to bring anything special here. So I'm going to switch up to... I'm going to switch up to a nav. And if I need to, I can switch that to... If I have to switch, I'm going to switch to a katana. I can't remember if there's a red line issue on this hole or what the deal is. We will soon find out. I know that I haven't had a lot of success on this hole. It always seems to break right at the end. I have hit a couple hole-in-ones here. But it always seems like when they come out with new holes, I hit hole-in-ones like when they first come out. And then when we're actually playing them in tournaments, it's always hit or miss. And it's usually miss. Ah, this is definitely a hole that we want to bring a club that's got some accuracy. Since we're using our driver. I think I was hitting off of this island, and I was bringing a club that had some backspin and trying to backspin it on there, but maybe not. Maybe 3 rings away. I think we were hitting off the island. Man, that's close to the edge right there. 3.36. See how bad this is. It's going to end up in the water. Right over it. Right over it. I could be a little bit more prepared for that. I'm pretty sure we were hitting off the island before, and hitting off of that island, I'm going to go back. Well, I'll go back and we'll look at the video here. So I think I was using a back driver that had some backspin. This might be a rock hole. And they're using a katana, and their red line's right there. So we went with a 3 power ball. I think we might have been using a katana. I put this at mid, but I'm almost positive I was hitting off the island and not bouncing it over. The thing about the island is you got to watch out. And what I don't like about the shot from this side is where that third bounce is. It's so damn close to the edge. If you make a bad wind adjustment, it's super easy to end up going over, or over pulling, or ending up in the drink. Like this shot is in the drink. Boom, in the drink. What a hazard. And that is no bueno. Once again, this is another one of those holes that it's better to put on a little bit of backspin and get up closer to the cup. Anytime your ball guide's getting wonky like that. Getting it perfect. And hold. If I remember correctly, the last time we played this hole, I have to think about that island. Dunner was going more towards, I was playing this, and he was playing it kind of like right in that line, so it was kind of straight on. And I was actually pulling off in the island and being more in the center. Not all the way in the center, but I was off more to the right-hand side, so that I didn't have to involve, because you do not want to have to pull over the edge there. It's a straight drop off. So if you go to start pulling over the edge, it's just gonna, it gets really, now my opponent's eyeballing their measurements, but you can see right there, they just moved it and it didn't move. So it gets really, really wonky. And the only way that shot that they have right there is going to make it is if they hit right on the edge. And they didn't. Let's see how it goes. Let's go back and look at that hole. Now that I've played it and I kind of remember. I remember. Good luck in the tournament. Exit. Let's go look at that hole. So what I was talking about is, if you're coming at the cup and you're on this line right here, if I can draw. If you're on this line right here, I was actually trying to pull off to the right a little bit more, not necessarily in the center of the island, but I was trying to pull off into this area so that no matter which way the wind was blowing, I had room to maneuver. And if I remember correctly, I was trying to keep myself about 3 rings off of that. So I must have, if we were in driver, I must have been doing this with a rocket. So hole number 2 with a rocket. I'm pretty sure. And just trying to backspin that sucker in there. The rocket with its 98 backspin. That would be the way to roll. I don't think I have, well, I could use a Thor's hammer. So if you have an upper developed Thor's hammer, it's also got backspin. And it's going to be more accurate. 64 accuracy versus, once you get your rocket up there, it's pretty accurate too. So 42 ball guide, 4.2 ball guide versus 4.1. So the rocket might just be the way to go. I like that accuracy on there. 60 backspin, I don't think it's going to cut it. So I'm going to switch that up. Let's try it with a rocket. I'll try that hole with a rocket. With a rocket. What bag do I want to switch up? Now if I want to take out, I'll switch this one up. We'll go out there with a rocket and we'll see what ball I need in order to get up into that spot. It might almost be better. What's the accuracy is 1.2 per ring. 1.4 is what they have it listed at, even though it's at 90 accurate. And that's Golf Clash Notebook. Let's go practice that. Practice. Hole number 2. Let's see if I can remember how to play it. Practice. Hole number 2, the par 3. Let's see if the rocket's the right club to do. And I'm sure that the wind in the practice round is not going to be the same as the wind that's out there, so I may have to switch that up to a katana just for the side spin, because I'm trying to move it over to the right and then bring it back to the left. Depending on how the wind's rolling, you can go straight at it, but if you've got a wind where you're going to have to pull over that edge, you do not want to have to pull over that edge. And I suppose if you're playing in the upper divisions, it's probably better to bounce it over. To do the bounce diddy bounce diddy bounce. Alright, dude. What in the hell are you trying to do? Alright. I'm curious to see how that goes. And you're overpowering it. And you got curl on it. And you hit it perfect. You got that going for you. Why did it seem like it's just going to roll off? Are you saying the only way that you were going to get that shot saved was with the sand trap? That's the deal. That is the deal. Okay, there's max club, so I'm at max with a... Let's switch that up to a katana. Okay, that gives me plenty of red line. And I was trying to wedge my blue rings up. So 2.2, 2.64 divided by 1.4 is 1.88 rings. Let's call that 1.9. Let's see if we can get it to go in the hole. Oh, we're not going to get it to go in the hole with a grate to the left. That was way great to the left. But this is one of those holes too. If you do hit it great to the left, everything's rolling off that direction. You can be way off like that. But that still seemed like it was way off. Maybe that was 17 rings great to the left. What I need is coffee. That's what I need. I'm gonna pause it after this video and go get some coffee, and then I'll be like on. I'm gonna get albies on all the rest of the holes, even the par 3s. They're just gonna give me an albie. I'm just gonna walk up there and go, "Oh, we're just gonna give you an albie." Oh, that's a putt that I wouldn't want to have to take all the time. Well, that putt sucks. Well, I wouldn't want to have to take that putt very often. So I would definitely rather miss to the left, or excuse me, the right than the left. Or go a little bit long, because that putt blew. That's the type of putt that causes me to wake up in sweats at the middle of the night. All right, I'll be right back. Hold on, let me get on the right screen. And when I come back, I'll be all ready. Centenary Harbour. Hole number 3. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I got coffee. Now I feel the world is everything's right in the world. Hole number 3. That is not hole number 3. There's hole number 3. All right. What were we doing here? I know I was trying, I think the last time we played this, I was trying to get a bounce here and get all the way through this rough and try and bleed through out here on the other side. And if you missed it and you were in the rough out here, it was rough. Even with the Nirvana, I think it was rough. Especially if you were caught up higher, it was really, really rough. Just trying to get the bounce. I mean, you could make it down into this area, but like getting on the green, you were definitely making it tough on yourself. If I remember correctly, we were going this way too. You can get down into this area, and you really got to run at it if you're down in here. If we do arc, now this distance being the same as this distance, if you get down in here, you are inside of that mark. But I don't know that you're changing club, so it is risky trying to get down in here, depending on which way the wind's going. Even if you get caught up in this stuff right here, trying to get over to the other side, you're in big trouble. I think Dunner was laying it up here and just actually coming at it from the top. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. Let's make a decision based off of which way the wind's blowing. The wind's blowing with us, so let's pound that sucker down there. Playdemic is a ball manufacturer. Let's use up some balls. We play like we're playing Elkhorn Golf Course, which is not too far from my house. Their motto is, do you have enough balls to play Elkhorn? I'm not sure. Extra mile might work better. I don't think there's a raw power issue, so let's get all the top spin we can get. And I think I did actually. Now, I think if you come out of that rough, you can come in through there pretty fast. I seem to remember once where I ended up overshooting it. But I might be thinking about a different hole. That might not be possible on this hole. Definitely getting over into here, I think, was the shot. I was trying this because I was trying to get inside my shot and see if I could get either into short iron range or deeper into my long iron. But I'm almost positive that Dunner was laying it up there at the top and using a big dog as a second club. The deal there is that if you lay up in the front, you better lay up in the front and not overshoot and end up in the rough, because now you are screwed. And even if I just left the wind on and didn't overpower it, that wind should push me up into that area right there. And if I put some left-hand curl, try and get it on that side, I'm going to leave the wind in, and I'm not going to overpower it. I'm trying to bring it over to that side. I'm going to slightly overpower it. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if I can bleed that sucker through there. That's much easier to do when you have tailwind, when you can work the wind. When you have headwind, I don't know, it seems like lately on these tournaments that and it's probably the same thing on the holes when you're playing one-on-one, but the wind on the drives has, especially when you have pure headwind or pure tailwind, it is like 100%. I have to go back and watch where that landed. But that looked like it actually landed about where it was supposed to. Left themselves a little bit of work to do. Where am I at? right at max. That would be 5 rings with no extra. How close can I get? And it seems like it's about right. I'm just going to do a full 5 ring pull. And I was wondering great to the right. Well, if I needed to do a wind adjustment. And that was actually about a half a ring. Where it ended up was probably like a half a ring. So if I'd have hit it perfect, I probably would have been fairly close to the same distance on the other side. So there's probably a plus that we need to do there, even from the bottom. It's hard to tell on these holes when you come, unless you're taking exactly the same shot that somebody's showing you. If you come into these holes and you're like, hey, I like that shot right there, then you're going to have to figure out what the wind adjustment is. Because if you look at what Tommy's notes are, and it says plus 20, and you go, oh, he says plus 20. Well, plus 20 from where? You have to watch his shot and see where he's taking the shot. Putt the ball to win. Is everybody just dropping stuff today? That's 3 in a row. One guy in the drink, 2 guys in the sand. Oh, 1 guy in the sand, 1 guy in the rough, 1 guy in the drink. Go Beavs. Wonder if he's an Oregon Beavers fan. They are like 30 miles from my house. And the Ducks are like 60. I'm a Duck. My wife's a Beaver. She's a Beaver believer. All right. Okay, this hole right here for sure was trying to get onto this island. And if I remember correctly, so I'm going to take a rock and doing a rough bump to bleed off onto this island right here. Trying to get up in here to this area right here, because the second shot there is a red line issue depending on what ball you bring. And there is a rough bump that you can do on the other end down here, but you've got to bring it. And I'm using a Grizzly, so you've got to have the right ball. If you're using a big dog, you won't have a red line issue. And you can take the same shot. I think I was using a katana. I'm pretty sure. Let's try it with a katana. It's my number 2 bag with a katana. A katana, as Dale Appleby likes to call it. Here we roll, rolling out on the course, winning the chest on every hole, but of course, let's see if we can win 9 in a row. It did take more time when we had shootouts. But there was times where you kind of wanted to, there was holes that you wanted to practice on, and then there was holes that I didn't really want to practice on anymore. I didn't want to practice that hole anymore. I had that hole down. I didn't need to practice it. I didn't want to waste any of my hole-in-ones out there doing the deal. And I cannot get down to it, so I'm going to do 3-3. That was about 3-4. Isn't that perfect? Just rolling it out there. I would have liked a little bit more distance than that. I say that now, but let's see what the other shot looks like. And where you're running in there on the rough, that is definitely a tricky area. If you hit anything great to the right, you could be in big trouble. Because you're making the distance that you have to roll out of the rough farther. So it has to roll through the rough farther where it can get caught up in it. And there's a crest right there. And if you hit it great to the right and you come out onto the fairway, on the pin side, on the right hand side of that, it'll fall off. That was just a little too much, bro. See where my red lines are. Yep, now I'm gonna have to bring a bigger ball. Push that red line forward a little. Now, luckily, the wind is kind of working in my favor. It's not going to help me. It's not going to get me in the hole here, but the wind's going to push me forward just a titch. I only need a little. I only need a ring. I'm not going to put any spin on it at all. That gives me a ring and a half forward. So 2-7. There's 2-7. I'm going to push it forward. Ring and a half. And I'm going to run out of time. You got to have one every tournament. Now I have to make the eagle. I have this in the bag. Now I know what I need to do as far as the setup. It was 3 side spin, no spin. Right there on the edge. You need to take the wind out and put in a ring and a half. Oh, my opponent could have saved me. Close. Close. All right. Let's get this rolling. Put just a sliver of backspin. And that is a sliver. And that's right at about 2 rings. So 3-2. And I'm going to put 2 rings back in. Right back to the red line. Oh. I know it's possible to hit it perfect. I've done it before. Definitely bring a kingmaker. And even with a kingmaker there, if you're taking that shot right there, that's why if you bring out a Goliath, or not a Goliath, but a, yeah. Would it be a Goliath? It'd be a Goliath. Sorry about the big dog thing earlier. That's why if you bring out a Goliath, you're right. You got plenty of room. It's 135. You can bring out a B-52. Then you won't have that problem, and you can still do the rough bump. Still got good ball guide, especially if you got an upper developed one. Hole number 5. What is hole number 5? Now I have to pick something up. Oh, there's a rough bump on this. And it seemed to me, if I remember correctly, that it was dangerous as hell. Dangerous. Danger, Will Robinson. Which way's the wind blowing? That wind is okay for us. Let me switch this up. I'm going to use a navigator. Actually, I think I have club card trading available. I thought about buying some of those new balls. I think they were That's still the same one. It's the 3 power precision. I think there was some side spin on it as well. Not interested in any of those. Put it back in the bank. Save it for tomorrow. All right, here we go. Here we go. Got to pick up something in order to make up for the drop that I just had. Golf Master. I go first, and I do not want anything at all to do with that hill. Nothing. I am way downhill, so I'm going to do, let's do 20. So that would be a 6.4. So that'd be 3.84. If you're going to hit that grate one way or the other, grate to the right is definitely the better way to hit it. But I think it gets stalled up at the top. It gets stalled up there at the top. There's a spot. That's what happens when you don't practice. Just go out and just dinking around, dropping shots. Try to remember how to play. The month I was gone, geez, got to remember how to play. Got to remember my numbers. I had to pull out my number sheet just so that I could look at the sheet and remember the numbers. I've been trying to play more with my Apocalypse too, because I'm just getting used to it. Not having had one forever in a day and just always playing with an extra mile. Extra mile on my rock. Let's see if my opponent came. Well, that literally was 75 rings. Great. To the right. That was so great, it was almost good. In the hole. All right. All right. Golf Master goes. I didn't win this one. Let's check Golf Master out. 344 million. So you can take 5,635 games won. Take the 344,689,000, divide that by how many games won, and that'll tell you how much they've won every time they've won. And that'll give you an indication of where they play. So they're probably playing around Tour 7 on a regular basis. That's where they live. That way they have access to all of the clubs. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? This is a hole here. Which way's the wind blowing? Okay, let's go back. Let's see which way the wind is blowing. That wind's not necessarily helping us. Let's look at this hole. There is a very dangerous way that you can play this hole. So what you can do, I like to play it with a big topper. You can play it with an extra, you can run through this gap. I will tell you that if you end up in the rough up here, you can still make it. Even if you're in the rough over here, it's still possible depending on what ball you brought out. And on these par 5s, I'm a big fan on par 5s of bringing out at least a 3-power ball. I mean, you got to respect the hole. Even though we're playing rookie, some of these areas you can get into an area and you'll wish that you had when you brought that katana, you'll wish that you had that par 3 ball if you screw up the drive shot. And with a big topper and all of its topspin trying to get out into this zone. And usually I find myself more on the bottom quadrant than I do on the front quadrant, because when you're coming through here, it's kind of, you're threading the needle. Trying to stay a couple rings off on this, give myself a little bit of room, and then trying to bring it around. But it's hard because how far this sticks out. So the angle of the pin, if you're trying to shoot into this area, you're coming real close. And so trying to bring it over a little bit and then bring it around. But there's a ridge right here. And so if you come in on that ridge and you hit on the top of the ridge, it's going to drift you off to the right, and it's going to pull you farther and farther off to the right. The shot was great until the very end, and the very end you got caught in the rough over here. There is another way to do this on the drive. If the wind is blowing the right way and you've got the right ball, you can, and you really want to tailwind, you can come in here and overpower and try and get a second bounce rough bump off of this and bleed forward. I did make it one time where I was in the clear, but I found myself more in the rough right here. You still have a great shot from that distance, but man, this shot was beautiful. Beautiful. But if you're out in this area right here, there's a rough bump that you can do to try and get to the cup. You can try and go straight out of it, but where the pin's at, and I think the rough bump is more, let's see if we can zoom in on it. I think the rough bump is more like in this area, and you're trying to bring it around as opposed. I think that's where it is right in that area. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's take my big topper bag. That should be my number 3 bag. I play with the big topper a lot. And the second shot, you can use a cataclysm. If you've got lower developed stuff, you want to bring out a big dog. You want to bring out something that hits far, but I'm going to bring a sniper. And I'm going to bring a Titan, the king of balls. That's right. You heard it here. Can't get it done with the Titan. You can't get it done. Let's see what we got. Big topper. McFly goes first. And they switch to a Titan. See? It is the king of balls. I see a lot of people when they take the shot, they're like where my opponent's at right there, and then they're what, half a ring away. You know, I give yourself a little bit of leeway there if you make a bad wind adjustment. And they're eyeballing it, and they move 2, 4, 6, 8 miles per hour away from it with a 4-mile-an-hour wind. So they actually set themselves up 2 rings. Let's see if they hit 2 rings away or if it ended up being closer. That was about 2 rings away. Perfect. Nice shot. That will work. That dog will hunt right there. Dog will hunt. I don't think I have to put all the topspin on it, but I'm going to. Am I going to? Maybe. I don't think you have to put all the topspin on it. 4.2, 2.1 per ring, 2.0. I think it's right at the same as an extra mile, so that'll be a 2-ring pool. Hitting it perfect. If I could hit the shots into the damn cup perfect, it'd be much, much better. And I think the deal is that the distance there, if I was trying to go straight at the cup, is fine. But I think if you're trying to do the rough bump, I've actually kind of, I still got an angle at the rough bump, but I think my opponent actually has a better angle at the rough bump than I do. It's one of the things I like about this game is that it's not always about just hitting it out there as far as you can. There's a lot of holes in this game that it's more important to hit to a spot and be consistent in that spot. If you're going to hit it long, fine, but hit it long every time so that your second shot, you can really work on your second shot. But I think my opponent's angle is actually a little bit better if they were doing the rough bump than mine. Close, close. Very close. There's Max. .95 rings. So almost a full 5-ring pool. Hitting it perfect. Wow, I hit one into the hole perfect. Let's see if it goes in. Woo! Look at that. I guess if you hit them perfect into the hole, they might go in. Even a blind squirrel can find a nut. All right, I just wasted that Alvy by missing that par 4, by screwing up. Or was it the par 3? It was one of the holes I dropped the shot. I think it was the par 4. So we're back on track. All right. And I did plus 10 on that hole. What do we got here? What do we have here? Let's go look at this hole because I don't remember it at all from those little teeny photos. That's one of the reasons I loved it when Golf Clash Notebook came out, is because we had much bigger pictures. We could actually see what was going on. All right. So this is definitely a hole that, in my experience, if you've got, let's just say you had a 4-mile-an-hour headwind, and the wind's going this way, it is going to knock you down. It's going to act like it was an 8-mile-an-hour wind. If you've got a 4-mile-an-hour tailwind, it's going to act like it's an 8-mile-an-hour tailwind, and you are going to end up in the drain. I'm trying to shoot to this area right here so that I'm past the trees. There are shots that you can take through the trees, but I would rather be right out here and not try and get the distance and try and be out in this area so that I can go straight at the cup than to try and hit through those trees. Because sometimes the tree thing works out and sometimes the tree thing don't. There is a gap between those two trees. They kind of do the little spray off thing, and you can hit between them. But I'm not a fan of hitting through trees if I can help it. So I want to stay as far to the left as I can. But I also want to get as much distance as I can so that I'm actually just completely in front of the trees. So let's see which way the wind is blowing. And the wind is going with us. And this is one of those dangerous ass deals where the wind, if you bring out a big ball and you try and get out there, you really got to be, if you leave the wind in, you're going to be in big trouble. Let's bring my big topper because I'll just play with the big topper. And let's bring out a Titan. The king of balls. I've already got it selected. Good. Why wouldn't you have a Titan selected? Let's open up a chest. Don't like playing without an empty slot. Replenishing some of those commons. I don't know how many days I still have left. Being gone, I think before I left, I had like a couple hundred days left. Before I think I still had a couple hundred days left. Of being able to do the club card trading. Okay, 3.4. So I'm going to go in that direction. We're going to put it all on. All of it. Okay, let's take the 3-4. I'm going to do, it's 2-4-6. I'm going to act like it's a 6-mile-an-hour wind and take that out. So I got the side wind out. And I'm going to push all the forward moving wind back in. Hitting it perfect, and see if we can overdrive that. The big topper worked out in front of the trees. The big topper getting it done with a Titan. Side wind wise, that was a little bit too much. I probably could have pulled out the 3-2 side wind and then just put the wind back in it. But if I go back and look at where that landing spot was, it pushed it forward about 6. I think my opponent's on a pretty good run if they got enough distance, and they did not get enough distance. You can see the spot that you can hit through those trees right there, even though the tops are very close together. Kingfisher. There's Max. Where the hell's man? There's man. I'm right at mid Kingfisher. It's 1.6 per ring. So 3.6 divided by 1.6. I'm going to do a 3.4 pull, or 2.4 pull, excuse me. I'm going to just do what it says, 2 1/4. I do think there is an adjustment there, but hitting it perfect. Oh, ring around the rosies. Needed to do just a little teeny bit. If I'd have did 2.3, it would have been 2. It was 2.25. It was 3.6 divided by 1.6 is 2.25. If I'd have did the 2.25 plus 1, that would have been in the hole. In the hole. So let's see. 3.6, 2.25 times 1.1. That'd be 2.47. So 10% would have been too much. 0.5, 2.36, like a 5% adjustment. Just a slight one. It'd be better just to do the plus 1. In the hole. That was close though. I like it when I can get into my Kingfisher range, but I don't like it when I miss a shot with my Kingfisher. Especially when I hit perfect. The Kingfisher should be in the hole. Okay, Mr. Francos. Let's check you out. 2,342. 100,000 a game, so he's been playing at Tour 7 for most of his games. It doesn't take very many games especially if you're an experienced player and you've played and then you've got a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 19th account. It doesn't take very long to get to Tour 7. Hole number 8. Hole number 8. All right. What are we doing here? It seems to me when I'm hitting off of this area and trying to bring it down the hill. It looks like you could do a rough bump right here. I remember when this hole first came out thinking like, wow, we got another rough bump hole, but I don't think that rough bump quite works out because the green is like this and the flagpole's here, and this is kind of downhill from the flagpole, so you're trying to bring it around and up the hill. And I don't think it quite worked out right. But this shot from right here is tricky. And there was definitely an adjustment that you needed to make from there. Let's see what Tommy says we're supposed to do. 15%. Well, we'll try Tommy's number and see if it's right. We'll see if it's right. And I'm going to take we need a lot of side spin here. So just for safety, I'm going to bring a katana. That way we at least have access to 3 side spin. Got what I need in that bag? I do. I do. I will tell you that I really like, I should not say kind of like, I really like the fact that we can go out there and switch out bags. But I like the game. I think I like the game better when you had to pick a bag. And I will tell you, as a player, it taught you you had to learn how to play clubs. So when we got to these tournaments where you're like, hey, I gotta hit this hole with my big dog, or I've got to hit this hole with this. Well, that's a driver hole. The rock. There's Min. There's Max. I'm at mid club. What's mid rock? 1.2 per ring. What are you grinning, giving me the face for? Screw you, dude. 4.0 equals divided by 1.2. It's 3.83 rings. I'm gonna get pissed at my opponent here. 3.83. What kind of douchebag does that? I hope that goes in just to piss you off. I will tell you that I'm not a fan of paying 500 gems for a freaking emoji, but if they had one that said douchebag, I would definitely do it. What kind of opponent does that? I mean, you're playing in a tournament. So, like, you could have a bad thing go wrong here, and you could end up in the rough, you could end up in the sand, you could end up having some stuff happen. It happens on par 3s. Par 3s can eat your lunch. Why wouldn't you want your opponent to hit a hole-in-one? Because now you got a free shot. You could go for a dunk if you wanted to. You can do anything you want. You got a free shot. And you're going to sit there and emoji somebody while they're playing? What a piece of work. Close. I should have sat there and waited the whole time and made them wait. How many tournaments have they played? They've played a lot of tournaments. And they have one 9-hole cup, second place banner. You're rocking, dude. Let's get away from them. Let's get away from them as fast as we can. 12 at the top. Minimum score. So minimum score at the top. So obviously people are having problems with these holes. Hole number 9. What is hole number 9? All right. So the best position I've ever been in on this is I was right in here. So which way's the wind blowing? That's going to determine a lot about, yeah, let's go back. So the wind's blowing in this direction, so we are getting some tailwind. Anywhere you end up in down here, if you're trying to really go for it, you should be able to recover, and there is a rough bump that you can do. I'm trying to try and get a bounce here, and either clip the rough and bleed out and end up right there, or get it clear. What I was really trying to do is see if you could get it just right if you had everything in and make it over to here, but it gets a little tight down there at the bottom, or you can hit this hill and have it drift off a little bit. But this area down here is my target zone. That's where I'm really trying to get to. If you watch my buddy Dunner when he's playing, he's really trying to get down into this area because it gives you a really good angle for the rough bump. I think he was also trying to get down into this area, but I think he switched over to this. But I'm going for the other side. Why not? Why wouldn't you? And let's bring out the power. The power. Do I need to bring out the power? I might need to bring out the power. Let's bring out the power. Let's make the wind as high as it can be. That's always helpful. Hungry for holes. Arrgh. Watch, my dogs will come running. Let's check out our opponent. Not very many games, so you take that 17, the 556 million divided by 1732. They've been playing some upper stuff. What does that work out to? 556, 726, 500 divided by 1732. They've averaged 321,000, so they've been playing at least on average Tour 8. Tour 8, Tour 9. They've been averaging Tour 8. That was a couple rings great to the left. If they'd hit it perfect, it might have just gets a little bit, it's not quite as deep. Let's try and get the full Monty here. I am really trying to go for it down in that area. I want to hit that rough, like right in that area right there. So I have to put some distance back on it. So 5.5. Put the forward distance back on. Hit it one ring great to the right. I hit it too far for the first bounce. I might be on a spot of bother in that spot. Yeah, I think I can still recover. Now we're in recovery mode. Let's see if we can get the Albion, hole number 9, from the recovery spot, if it's possible. If you can't get it done with the Nirvana, you can't get it done. Dude, did you put all the backspin on that? Why did that shot look like it was going to suck back? Close. No cigar. Yeah. Okay, so where's my red line? There's red line. Let's see if I have the distance to get up there. I do. That should be 2 rings. And a smidget. That's a technical term. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. I was thinking about letting it go by just a few more times, and I decided no. And I hit it good. Not good. Not good. But we got the recovery. What did I do to make that shot, though? Would have liked to see where it would have been perfect. Perfect. In the hole. All right. I think I ended up with a minus 12. Dropped one, picked one up. Not good when you have to use your recovery. You're looking for those alvies. You're looking for those hole-in-ones, and then having to use it to recover. It blows. Blows. All right. That was just kind of a, I guess that was a practice round. Just going out there and doing the deal. We got a 13 that popped up to the top. They were able to shoot the minimum score and then hold on to the one, which is exactly what you need to do. Where did I drop? I dropped one. I dropped a par 4. Hole number 4. Not good. Not good at all. But I'll take it. That'll at least qualify me up, and I can go out there and play in the weekend round and just have some fun. Have one account in. I will definitely shoot a video this week. I'm going to make sure that I take the time on Saturday. We're playing D&D on Saturday, but I will make sure to get up early and shoot a video on Saturday, if not tomorrow, on the par 4 course that's coming up, because I'm definitely interested in seeing if all of those are eagleable par 4s. If they are, this could be a wild tournament. All right. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.